But there was another effect. There was another effect of Trump's Abraham Accord and beginning to bring peace between Israel and the Middle East. There was another effect. And the effect was upon a group there in Jerusalem called the Temple Institute. The Temple Institute is an organization that is pushing and is passionate about the rebuilding of the temple. And so they have constructed all of the utensils needed to use in worship. They have put together a building that could be put up rather quickly. They have also trained a priesthood, and they have put everything together to be able to be ready to go as soon as the word was given. You can put the temple back up. Now, what was so interesting is this. Around the same time that Trump signed that Abraham Accord, peace between Israel and several Middle Eastern countries, about the same time, the Temple Institute made an announcement. And the announcement that they made is, guess what? We have a viable red heifer. We have a red heifer. Everybody say, I have a red heifer. I have a red heifer. You have no idea what that means. The red heifer is so important because in the Old Testament law, the red heifer, a very rare heifer, a rare cow, would be sacrificed, and the ashes of that red heifer would be mixed with water, and it was used to purify the things of worship and to purify the worship space. And so the rabbis are saying, if we build the temple, before we can use it, we've got to have the red heifer. Now, there wasn't a red heifer for generations and generations. You see, the cow has to be completely red. There can't be any defects on this cow. This cow can never have been used to work. It's a very special red heifer that needs to be used to cleanse the temple. As well, the Temple Institute has announced that they have a red heifer. According to Numbers 19, you need to have a red heifer. Listen to what it says. This is a requirement of the law that the Lord has commanded. Tell the Israelites to bring you a red heifer without defect or blemish that has never been under a yoke. Give it to Eleazar the priest. It is to be taken outside of the camp and slaughtered in his presence. So the Temple Institute is saying, we have a viable candidate, as a matter of fact, 2 red heifers that are almost ready to be sacrificed and their ashes mixed with water in preparation to cleanse the rebuilt temple. I have a video I want to show you right here about the red heifer.
Hashem spoke to Moshe and Aaron, saying, This is the statute of the Torah, which Hashem commanded, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, and have them take for you a perfectly red, unblemished cow, upon which no yoke was laid. Five years ago, the Temple Institute began its Raise a Red Heifer in Israel project. Just under 2 years ago, we announced the birth of our first red heifer candidates, 2 perfectly red heifers eligible for the historic role of being the red heifer who returns to Israel after 2,000 years the ability to achieve the highest level of Torah purity. Since their birth, the rabbinic experts of the Temple Institute have been keeping a close watch on these heifers for any non-red hair that a heifer sprouts or any minor injury that the heifer sustains will disqualify it from being a kosher red heifer. This past week, June 2020, we visited our 2 most advanced red heifers and filmed them. In the upcoming weeks, they will receive another visit from the Temple Institute's experts for yet another close inspection. Should either or both of these red heifers remain eligible candidates, we will soon be ready to advance toward the stage of actually preparing the ashes. How wonderful to imagine that these two innocent, unsuspecting creatures could, in the very near future, advance Israel and the world to the next stage of the redemption and the building of the Holy Temple.
Now keep in mind that if one of those two red heifers would rub its head against one of those gates and gouge an eye or put a cut or put a scar or whatever, it would be disqualified to be used there to cleanse the rebuilt temple. And so as you noticed in this video, this is a recent video shot in 2020, he says they are ready, they are almost ready to sacrifice these red heifers, to take their ashes, to mix them with water, and when the rebuilt temple comes on the scene, to cleanse the temple. Now, what even more, we see the gospel in this as well. The red heifer represents Jesus. The redness represents the blood of Christ. The perfect and without defect represents Jesus as sinless. To be taken outside the camp to be sacrificed like Jesus was taken outside the camp to Golgotha to be sacrificed there. Church, we need to watch. Watch for the movement towards the rebuilding of the Jewish temple on the Temple Mount, and watch for the red heifer. I told the first group this morning, I said, wouldn't that make a great t-shirt? I would love to make a black t-shirt with red lettering that says, watch for the red heifer. I think you get a lot of people saying, what in the world are you talking about?